Hi everyone, welcome to another Spotlight Chats for the CRS newsletter. Today I'm here with Ruth Schmid. Welcome, Ruth. Ruth is recently retired from SINTEF, which is a non-profit research organization in Norway, where she held several positions, including Vice President Marketing. And she's also a well-known personality of CRF, having been past president of our society and currently program chair for the ED&I committee. So Ruth, thank you very much for accepting my invitation. It's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you for having invited me.
My pleasure.
It's a little bit special. So you want to know a little bit more about myself?
Yes, I wanted to know a little bit about yourself and your career path, please.
Yeah, I'm a Swiss citizen. And I have lived in Norway for the last 45 years because I have my PhD from ETH in Zurich, in Switzerland. I'm a physical organic chemist, originally by training, but I never really worked in that area. I moved to Trondheim together with my husband for a postdoc position. This lasted only 1 year. And after 1 year, I had to find something new because my husband had a 2-year postdoc position. So I was then headhunted by SINTEF, as you said, a non-profit research organization. And I started working in SINTEF as a research scientist. And I have been in SINTEF all my career for more than 40 years. But as you said, I did a lot of different things, both scientifically, but also as concerns positions, because maybe you know, or somebody else knows, the dyna beads, these tiny magnetic beads for separation, cell separation and diagnostics. I developed the dyna beads. I was there almost from the beginning, and it was really an interesting job, interesting work. But I'm not only a scientist, I'm also a mother, and I'm a mother of 3. And of course, I got my children during my career. And every time when I went on maternal leave, which is in Norway 1 year, somebody else took my position. So I had to, when I came back, I had to do something else. So I learned to do a lot of different things because I had to change a little bit every time. That means 3 times.
Yeah.
But this was not so bad because it gave me a much broader scientific background. And because we are a contract research organization, of course, we work in European projects, but and also Norwegian projects. But we also do contract research for industry, and having a broad background can be a very good thing, especially when I eventually, in my career, got a research director and was directing a whole group. I had the overview, and I could put together the teams of the specialists, but I knew a little bit in very different areas, so I could speak the language of many different people, and then put together the good project teams.
That is super important.
Yeah. So I did a lot of things, but eventually I, in fact, got tired of being the research director. I didn't like the economic part and the administrative part. So I told my superior I want to step down. And they never had seen that. They said, what should we do? We can't just put you back into a research position. And they asked me, what do you want to do? And this was one of the, this was really one of the mentoring that I appreciated, and that made my career path really interesting. They asked me what I wanted to do. And this was just in the beginning when nanomedicine started to be a field. And I told them, I think nanomedicine is of interest for SINTEF. I want to build up nanomedicine in SINTEF. And I got this position as vice president marketing, never doing marketing. I did business development. So I built up the whole nanomedicine field, starting from formulation to characterization and even preclinical characterization. So we built up everything in our organization. Now it's a big part of our research. And
Wow.
I could do exactly what I liked to do.
That is a dream come true, how design your own job.
Yes, it was. That's what I did until I retired.
Very good. And how did you get involved with CRS in the first place, and what made you stay?
My first two meetings were in 1998 and 1999 in Las Vegas and Boston. Mm-hmm. There I was as a research scientist. We had the Dynabeats. We had posters about the Dynabeats. We wanted to see whether Dynabeats could be used in controlled release and not only for magnetic separation. Mm-hmm. But I really was only there as a scientist. And I didn't know anybody. I went with colleagues and we stuck together. So mm-hmm. I didn't really starting to build a network. And then I had a break because I didn't have projects to go to conferences. But in 2004 on Hawaii, I was sent by Firmenich. We had a project for Firmenich in the controlled release and encapsulation of fragrances. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to go to the conference and report back what was interesting and so on. And I went alone. I didn't know anybody. And that is the cue, because then I had to find somebody to have lunch together. I started to interact with people from other places. And I also went to a lot of the non-pharma, the CNDP mm-hmm. sessions, because of course fragrances is not pharma.
Yeah.
And they asked me to come to their luncheon and they asked me to be in their division. So I started to attend all their monthly meetings and I was in. From then on, I only missed one meeting in 2008 because I had a surgery at the same time. So I really started to build my network there. And also I was invited to build my network.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. And I think it's really interesting for the members as well, because so many of us get involved with the society from a drug delivery point of view. And I think it's really interesting to see and to open everyone's attention to the fact that the society really has a very active CNDP community as well. And it's really interesting that everyone knows that they can join CRS through that route as well. And it's super interesting to share thoughts and ideas and innovation in delivery and controlled release of other types of products. So that's really nice. And you touched upon it when you talked about your career, but what has been the role of mentoring as you navigated through these different moments of your career, even if you stayed in the same organization for most of it, let's say?
I was, when I think back, I don't think I really had specific mentors. Mm-hmm. Specifically as a student, I absolutely didn't have any mentors because I studied in the 1970s in Switzerland. And we were very often only one or two female students in the classes. So there was no mentoring. It was my mentors were my parents, especially my mother. She encouraged me all the time. I could discuss with her my career ideas and everything, and she encouraged me to try things that she thought could fit for me, but it was also open for me to decide, of course. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have any scientific mentors at all. And maybe that's the reason why I want to be a mentor now, because that was something that I never had myself. In SINTEF, it was less the scientific mentors, but as I told you, I had two superiors in SINTEF that both really gave me the freedom to follow my ideas. Of course, I had to deliver, and I had to bring in the money. I had to write a lot of proposals and everything, but I could really follow my ideas and my dreams.
Yeah.
And this was really a very important thing for me. But I had to take the initiatives all the time, I think.
It was a very proactive sort of thing. You had to be proactive in finding your ideas and your path, and then but you felt supported by those people that gave you that freedom. And so you mentioned how you find it so important to be a mentor yourself now that obviously you've reached I was going to say the end of your career, but it's not really the end. It's the formal end, let's say, the retirement age. But I think in science, we rarely reach the end of our career. So what have you learned throughout the years? What has been the most important learning points that have shaped you as a mentor yourself?
I think I have mentored a lot of my colleagues the last years in SINTEF because I didn't want my babies to die. So I have one person asked me once, how many mini-me's do you have? And in fact, I have quite many, about 5 or 6, because I had this broad competence. I always called myself a generalist and not a specialist anymore. But I worked together with all the specialists, and each of those specialists, they now have got, I have been a mentor for them. So they have built their own networks, and they carry on my legacy in a way. So that's, it was important for me to always let the others build their network, to let them shine, because it came back to me anyway, because so it wasn't important what I did, it was important what they did. And also, I think it's important that the mentees are the ones that are the drivers. I see that I have been a mentor in the Young Scientist mentoring program for many years, and I have had mentees that didn't really show an initiative, and I told them, I'm not the one that decides what we want to do. And those mentorships didn't succeed very well, but I have had a few that really they were the drivers, and there I think I could contribute a lot. But it's really up to the mentees. They need to know what they want from me and what they want, because as a mentor, you don't make decisions, you make the others reflect. You help them to reflect about their questions more than giving them an answer, so that they can find the answer by themselves.
I think it's really important that you use your mentors with respect, but use of the word use, but you use your mentor's experience almost like a sounding board, like you express your ideas and your thoughts and your questions or concerns, and then, as you said, you don't necessarily get answers, but you get sometimes more questions and directions into your thinking. And I've personally experienced that with mentors at different stages, and I think it's really important to have that role of sounding board. And I think you mentioned the initiative of the mentees, and I think that's a really important message for anyone who's signed up to this year's cohort of the YSC mentoring program and will be allocated a mentor soon, to be able to kind of have that initiative and ask the questions or open the conversations. I think that's really important. And I know you said you didn't have any specific mentors throughout the beginning of your career, let's say, but I'm sure you have a couple of people you admire in the field. If you had to choose two or three role models, and I'm sure a lot of people I would ask this question would answer Ruth Schmid, but when I'm asking Ruth Schmid, who are your two, three role models in the field and why?
I think Maria Jose Alonso and Christine Allen are the two that really have been my role models. But I know that also Christine says that I have been her role model. I think I think we together could inspire each other. And the main reason is that I know they both of them, they haven't had it easy. They have had a lot of bumps, but they have succeeded in so many ways, both as academics, but also as entrepreneurs and as mothers and as good friends.
Yeah, and I think I remember when I had this chat with Christine, she said something that really inspired me. Obviously, I have to say that those are two of my own role models for many things. But Christine said something that I think many people are not usually open to, which is when we think about role models, we typically think of people who preceded us, but she opened up to younger generations. She said some of the younger people in CRS are also role models for me. So that was really interesting to me because I think it's really nice to open that idea of people who inspire us may be coming after us and doing, I mean, at least for me, after my time at the YSC, I see that happening of people succeeding my time at the YSC and doing better and excelling. And I think that's really inspiring. And as you say, it's carrying that legacy that you said. And I think that's really interesting, but definitely two amazing women in CRS who are really role models.
I could mention many, I could mention many more, but
I know. Okay, so before we wrap up, it was really nice to talk to you about this this topic and this really central aspect of our careers, which is mentoring and helping others achieve, as you said, opening their paths and helping them shine. I think that was a really nice aspect that you mentioned. But before we go, and given that this is going to be watched hopefully by our CRS members in the next few days, is there anything, a final message that you would like to leave to the members? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I mean, CRS is really my #1 scientific organization. I have never been engaged in any other that much, and that's because it is multidisciplinary, but also multi-industrial and a multicultural organization. And it's so easy to make friends and to build networks because the CRS is very inclusive to me, and everybody should really use that. Don't be afraid to talk to anybody at the meetings, and just because no one is too high level up for anyone. Everybody can be contacted and be a friend to you. And of course, I hope everybody is going to Philadelphia to the annual meeting in July.
Thanks, Ruth. Indeed, that's a great message. I agree fully that CRS is an excellent place to form your family of scientists and your family of friends. Super inclusive, and we're really lucky to have you in the society. And I think everyone who listens today will agree that that it's been a real pleasure to have you here today, but also in general as a friend and a colleague in so many committees that we work together. So I agree. No one is too high up to be talked to at CRS. So I'm really glad that I've talked to you, and we created this relationship. So thank you so much, Ruth, for your time and for sharing your ideas and your thoughts. And hopefully we'll see each other in Philadelphia. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.